You come home, reach behind the TV console for your phone charger, and find it chewed clean through. The bitten end is frayed, the rabbit is sitting 2 feet away looking pleased with itself, and your stomach drops because you know how close that was. That is the moment most of us learn what rabbit proofing really means. It is not about saving your furniture, although it does that too. It is about a live wire and a curious mouth in the same small flat. And so let me walk you through proofing an HDB flat properly, the way I wish someone had walked me through it before my first bun ever came home. Quick note before we start. I am a fellow Singapore rabbit owner, not a vet. If your rabbit has already chewed a wire or hurt itself squeezing somewhere, that is a vet call. Today, not something to wait out. First, why this matters so much. Rabbits chew because they have to. Their teeth never stop growing, and gnawing is how they keep them worn down. So it is not naughtiness, it is just biology. The problem is they explore with those teeth, like puppies do. An exposed cable is the single most dangerous thing in a normal flat, and a rabbit can bite through one in about 5 seconds. There is a heat angle too. Our flats get hot, and the bun that escapes its safe zone and ends up trapped behind the warm appliance can overheat fast. Dehydration in our climate is not a slow thing, and there is escape itself. A rabbit that finds a gap under a gate or a gap to the corridor is gone, into a stairwell or a lift lobby where the dangers multiply. Proofing is really about keeping all of that from ever starting. The first real decision is the zone. You are not proofing the whole flat on day one, you are choosing where the rabbit actually lives and making that one area genuinely safe before anything else. Most Singapore owners land on a corner of the living room or a spare bedroom. Somewhere you pass often, somewhere with decent airflow, and somewhere you can close off if you need to. Avoid the kitchen and never the bathroom, because the kitchen has cooking heat, humidity and food access, and the bathroom has chemicals and standing water, neither of which belongs anywhere near a rabbit. Now the big question owners always ask, cage, pen or free roam? The honest answer is that a cage on its own is almost never enough, and I want to be clear about why. A pet shop rabbit cage is tiny, often around 60 by 40 centimeters, which is a fraction of what a rabbit needs. A cage alone leads to sore feet, weak muscles, and a frustrated, unhappy bun. The setup that works for most flats is an exercise pen, what people call an X-pen. A pen around 1.5 to 2 meters across gives real room, it is easy to set up, and it contains the rabbit when you cannot supervise. Free roam is the gold standard, where the rabbit has the run of a whole proofed room. It is the happiest setup by far, but it asks the most of you because every single thing in that room has to be safe. My honest steer for a first-time owner is a pen as the base with 3 to 4 hours of supervised out time daily in a proofed area. You can graduate to free roam once you trust your proofing. Let me show you how these three compare side by side, because the trade-offs matter far more than the labels do. Next, flooring and traction, which Singapore owners almost always underrate. Our flats are tiled, and tile is wonderful to clean, but a rabbit simply cannot grip it. They slip, they splay their legs out sideways, and over time that strain hurts their joints, so you lay down traction wherever the rabbit walks most. Yoga mats, rubber mats, cheap washable kitchen mats, or a flat weave rug all work, and they are easy to lift and clean. Avoid thick shag carpets and anything precious. Rabbits chew loose pile, and they will dig at a corner until it frays, so use surfaces you genuinely do not mind replacing. Now the part that actually keeps them safe, the wires and cables. Walk your zone crouched down at rabbit eye level, and every cable you can see from there needs covering or moving. Your best tools are spiral cable wrap or corrugated tubing, both cheap from Daiso or a hardware shop. For anything you can lift, run it along the ceiling line or up high, out of reach entirely. The priority spots are behind the TV console, under the desk, around the bed, and any power strip sitting on the floor. Do not bother with exposed tape. The rabbit chews straight through it in seconds, and a cardboard cover is even worse because it becomes a chew toy that hides the wire underneath. Next, furniture and skirting. Some rabbits ignore wooden legs and skirting boards completely, and some treat them like a chew toy, so you watch and you respond to your own rabbit. For the chewers, corner guards on chair and table legs work, clear acrylic shields along a skirting board work, and for stubborn buns, a wider physical barrier in front of the wall does the job. Test before you overbuild. Now the trap and escape risks, which is where flats catch people out. Rabbits squeeze into tiny gaps and get stuck. So check behind the fridge, behind the washing machine, and under any low sofa. Block those gaps with foam strips, a cardboard barrier, or simply by pushing furniture flush to the wall. Think of your zone as a rabbit-sized obstacle course, and close anything they could wedge themselves into. Then the doors and the gaps to the outside world. A determined rabbit will test the gap under your main gate and the gap to the corridor. So a low barrier or a closed inner door matters more than you think. And now the one I need you to take seriously, the balcony. In Singapore, a balcony is not extra space for a rabbit. It is genuinely dangerous, and for most buns, the answer is simply never. The heat alone is the reason. A balcony routinely hits the mid-30s in the afternoon, and the rabbit is in real trouble at 30 degrees, with heat stroke possible inside an hour. Then there are the predators we forget we have. Hawks and kites circle our blocks, neighbor cats jump across, and crows are everywhere, and every one of them sees a rabbit as a meal. And there is the fall. A rabbit has no understanding of height. It will hop straight off an edge and from an HDB floor that is fatal. The safest rule is to keep the balcony door closed and the rabbit indoors. Full stop. Let me put the gaps, the doors and the balcony into one clear safety path you can walk in your own flat. Now placement for our heat, which is honestly half of good rabbit keeping here. Put the enclosure in the coolest part of the flat, ideally an air-conditioned room, and keep it well away from any window that gets direct afternoon sun. But here is the catch that surprises people. Do not park the rabbit directly under the aircon draft either. Cold air blowing straight onto a bun can cause breathing trouble, so you want a cool room, not a cold wind on the fur. A ceiling fan for circulation, a spot out of the sun, and a couple of cooling helpers like a ceramic tile or a frozen water bottle wrapped in cloth. And you have a zone that stays comfortable through the hottest part of the day. Inside the zone, set up the litter corner first, because rabbits like to toilet in one spot. Put a litter box in a back corner, and most spayed or neutered buns will take to it almost on their own. The trick that makes it click is hay. Rabbits eat and toilet at the same time, so you place the hay rack right over the litter box, and the corner becomes both the toilet and the favorite hangout. Next to that, the food and water station. A heavy ceramic bowl of water is steadier than a hanging bottle, and a rabbit drinks more freely and more naturally from a bowl, which matters a great deal in our heat, where staying properly hydrated is everything. Then the hides and the enrichment, because a safe rabbit is a calm rabbit. Give them at least one hide, a cardboard box with 2 doors, or a proper hidey house, so they always have somewhere to feel tucked away. A tunnel, a few untreated willow or wood chew toys, and something to forage in. A rabbit with things to chew and dig at leaves your skirting boards and your cables alone. So enrichment is part of the proofing, not a luxury. Let me put the build together now in the order I would actually do it. First, do this work before the rabbit comes home, because proofing around a loose curious bun is so much harder. Start with the cables, since that is the life safety item, and get every visible wire covered or lifted. Then secure or remove any plants and chemicals, because a fair few common house plants are toxic and the rabbit will taste them. Then handle furniture and skirting only where your rabbit actually chews. Block the trap gaps and the balcony, and last, lay your traction mats down over the tile. Cables, plants, gaps, balcony, floor, in that order. And let me lay those build steps out as one clear sequence you can follow at home. And for day 1, here is a quick checklist before you ever let the bun loose in its zone. Crouch to rabbit height and scan for any cable you missed, because you always miss one the first time. Check that every gap is blocked, the balcony door is shut, and the litter corner, hay, and water are all in place and topped up. Then sit on the floor and just watch for the first hour, noting anything new the rabbit heads straight for. Over the first month, stay watchful. Some rabbits develop a new chewing target out of nowhere, so you escalate from a bit of cardboard to a proper acrylic shield only where your particular rabbit shows you it is needed. So to bring it all together, proofing is about the wire and the curious mouth first, then traction on our slippery tile, then gaps and the balcony that our flats and our climate make dangerous. Pick a cool zone away from sun and away from the aircon draft. Build the litter, hay and water corner so it is steady and easy, and give the bun enough to chew and explore that it leaves your home alone. Do the work before they arrive, walk the day 1 checklist at rabbit height, and keep watching for the first month. Get that right and the flat becomes a genuinely safe, happy home for a rabbit. If this helped, the website is Singapore Rabbit. With a free weekly digest of practical rabbit care and a directory of rabbit-savvy vets across Singapore for the day you need one. That is rabbit-proofing your flat, start to finish. Subscribe so you catch what is next and give your bun a gentle nose rub from me.